Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today, we're joining you from one of the guest rooms at Jabba the Hutt's palace. I don't know why the bed is over a trap door, Alan, but I mean, it looks like the hinge is working okay.
Somebody's got to feed Allan's monsters.
Okay.
The Manticore needs to eat. That's all I got to say.
That in the face, the Rancor Keeper and Allan look related.
Yeah. He's kind of a cheapskate, though.
No, not really. There's no family resemblance.
Why'd you call him cousin?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we call everybody cuz.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't like that the little bar in the refrigerator has you pay for that too. I mean,
that's every
is this
hotel.
a guest house or whatever. Anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. It was, hey, I didn't get much sleep last night. I had travel challenges, and so we're not going to talk about that.
Chicago didn't want to give you up.
No, so just whatever. Take it for what it is. But I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max behind the glass, and two special guests we'll announce momentarily. But you guys, we are creeping into really what is one of my favorite times of the year. I almost call it a season. And
it goes all year.
Well, but when look, here in the Mid-South, we have no shortage of great geek events. I mean, really, every few months, you've got something to look forward to. But the longest running convention here in the Mid-South is, of course, Mid-South Con. Wasn't always called that, but it's coming up, and we want you to get ready for it. So we're going to introduce our friends Denise and Wes. Are we giving last names?
You can, if you know them.
Well, let's just give them okay. But you guys...
He doesn't know them.
Wes, assistant head of gaming, and Denise, you wear many hats. You're the head of marketing, gaming, and programming for Mid-South Con. And, hey, welcome to the show. So,
hey.
Get right on the mic, you guys. So, I guess you'll have to take turns with that mic. So, Denise, we've known you many years, and you... it seems like you, when Mid-South Con comes around, you have your title, but really you get stuck with a lot of duties, don't you? So
I have a really bad habit of biting off more than maybe I want to chew. I don't know. I keep saying I won't until I do.
Are you bad at saying no?
Apparently.
Okay. Well, you guys, it's
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, it's the 39th annual.
It is.
How many of these have you been to, Alan?
I have been to 38.
Okay.
38. I missed one.
Well, you guys, I hate talking about the pandemic, but you kind of can't. So you guys couldn't have got hit at a worse time. Your event is always in March. And so when 2020 came around, you weren't sure. I mean, down to the day, you weren't sure if you were going to have to cancel.
It was a week. Like, we were debating and not knowing what's going to happen with this contract and the hotel. And the hotel's like, we don't want to do it anymore. And we're like, we're not even sure we can do it anymore. And yet we finally got an answer that, without a force from the government, I think we would have had to put on a con that wouldn't have worked. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then you missed 2021. And then didn't 2022, was it?
No, we were there in 2021. We came back with 2021. Nope. I'm sorry. We missed 2020, 2021, like a lot of cons. And then 2022, we were back. Yeah. And then we were gone again in 2023.
Right. Because we were, with MCFC over in November, it was late in 2021 when Shelby County was like, okay, you guys can gather in groups of more than 100 now. So, yeah, you guys got nailed for 2 years. And then you missed last year because of venue issues, correct?
Yeah. It was like a month before the con or two that the venue had to cancel for issues and change of ownership or renovations, or it was something like that. But
yeah. Hey, Wes, we always get new listeners, and there's a lot of people, even now, as much as I hate it, there's a lot of people that don't know about all the conventions in Memphis. But what's the elevator kind of pitch for Mid-South Con? How do you even describe this to people that don't know anything about it? So
from my perspective,
yeah.
It's a faceted con, right? So from my perspective, it's more of a gaming con, but it's really what you make it.
See,
So-
I totally disagree, and yet I'm head of gaming, and
All
I've
right.
been there forever.
Right.
But let's be honest. I've known you guys for years. Wes doesn't get to leave the gaming room very
Absolutely
often.
true.
You know, he's in the middle of doing something in there almost all weekend.
Yeah,
But, I mean, that's by Wes's design. He owns like 2,000 games in his house. Like,
Well,
it props our library, that's
then
for
he,
sure.
Then he brings it on himself. Then
kind of
absolutely.
True. So, remember that year that my library was the con library?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, I do. Yeah,
That
you
was
saved us
several
that
years ago.
year from just stuff, but it
That was
was
fun.
It was 2016 or something.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Okay, and you're going to be at the Whispering Woods over in Olive Branch, and it's been how many years? Because was it
I
2011 the last time you were there?
It was 2010, 21. It's been a decade or so. We were at the Hilton after that, and it's grown so much and changed so much. It almost felt like a different hotel. Like we were doing and looking at the hotel again to get the space, and I was like, my memory is 90 degrees off. Like, take this map and flip it.
Right.
And maybe that's right. I don't know. Like, did we change something, or is this a different dimension? What's happening here? You know.
no.
Yeah, it's funny because Brandon, we see this. I mean, venue, that's your challenge when you run an event. First of all, can you afford it? Is the venue going to be open? I mean, our buddy Cliff, they're remodeling that hotel. He's out of, you know, it's just always, or
Yeah.
did they remodel and now it changes the whole footprint of what you were planning?
Right.
So, you know, yeah, we feel your pain, but it sounds
we
like
we just recently moved into a new venue, and it's like we've got so much space than we had in our last venue, but now how do we fill it?
yeah, every year it's kind of an interesting challenge, but I'm looking forward to. I love, for one thing, the Whispering Woods. There's plenty of places to eat around there.
Isn't
Like you
the-
don't even you can
it's-
park
Yeah.
and just walk over. And,
Isn't Whispering Woods though the first Mid-South Con you actually attended, Joe? It
no, no. I've been
See, 'cause
I went.
Didn't
as a
MCFC
vendor.
start before that? Because he was a vendor for us before MCFC was
I
a
was.
thing.
That's what got
Oh,
me
no,
into
see,
convention. That's you corrupted me. I said, hey, being a vendor is kind of cool, and then making friends with Shorty and learning about what goes into convention planning. It's I don't know.
And then you jumped in literally both feet first, or head first, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if it was advisable, but
No,
No.
it
No,
happened.
it
So
really
what
wa-
are you
it
going to
really
do about
wasn't.
it?
Yeah, that depth of warning, do not jump 3 feet. You're like, I could do this. I got it.
We're gonna talk about that too, because it's funny. You might be out there saying, "I'm going to create an event. I'm going to create a convention." Well, you know what? You just created something that you have to do every year. You better.
Right.
It's like buying a parakeet. Don't those things live for like 50 years, Alan?
That's a parrot, not a,
a parrot.
parakeet.
I think having kids is worse.
So we're gonna talk. We're gonna do
Only
some.
18
theory.
years, man.
We're gonna
But
talk
man, more
about
than
the what goes into organizing a convention, giving you a little behind the scenes when we talk with our friends coming back here on about Mid-South Con here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. A dozen Ewoks clubbing the microphones would still sound better than this.
True.
The Geek Patrol is back.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. They got good rhythm. They'll keep. I mean, it actually is performance art. Anyway, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm
That
Joe
hate
Thorderson.
everybody in the next studio, but that's all right.
They're on an open mic night at Jabba's place.
Exactly. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, and Wes and Denise from Mid-South Con. I don't know. I guess we can give your last names. Do you know, whatever.
I guess it's allowed. It's your show.
Witness
It's
protection
Denise
program.
Hager and Wes Kinslow.
Okay. But
It's okay that
now
I
you
shared your
get
name,
stalkers.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was trying to keep that close to the chest.
can you give us your social security number? and your,
It
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So you guys, the
Do I
reason we have
one of
them in
those?
they are intimately involved with Mid-South Con, which is right around the corner. We didn't give the dates. March 22nd through 24th. It's a Friday through Sunday. It's always a 3-day event. It's the 39th annual. Really? Wait, okay. I'm a little confused
It's
though
the
because
39th. That's the 40. That would have been the 41. Yeah.
right, because you missed two years of COVID, one other year because of venue challenges
And
or whatever.
Technically, we missed one like right before Mid-South Con 17, which is when I started. So
Right.
I was like in high school and was just learning all the business, all the, and just all this news about, oh my gosh, look what happened. And it's grown so much from a 300-person con to 2,000 to 1,000 to
Right.
who knows. Yeah.
You just know there's a crowd of people that come in now.
I know that gaming is going to run at least 50 to 60%, and there's at least 1,000 post-COVID and 2,000 before that, and there's just a bunch of stuff and so many activities. So I know stuff and things.
Mid-South Con stands alone in the Mid-South here when it comes to gaming. I mean, nobody even touches you guys when it comes to how many gaming tournaments, the level of activity, and just how many people, Brandon, are out there gaming at Mid-South Con.
So, Wes, I'm gonna ask you just for a ballpark number. How many hours of scheduled gaming can we expect?
Gosh. Denise might answer this.
I'm sure Denise can answer it, but I'm testing you.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
You can phone a friend.
Okay. But it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's easy to say that, just to start, that the gaming room never closes. So it's a 24-hour board game event, and it runs from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m., for RPGs and stuff. So there's easily over 100 hours of solid scheduled possible gaming. And in flex gaming, where you just come in and grab one of those 500 games and stuff from that library, there's it's at least 72 hours of that, because there's 72 hours in this con.
Yeah.
And there's people that I feel like it almost looks like they don't leave. Like, I don't know when they sleep. I guess they're living on Red Bull or something.
Yeah, we do have hundreds of games in the library. So we have scheduled gaming, and we also just have pickup games. We have tons of it. It really is a place where the Memphis gaming community, the tabletop community, can come together and really get passionate about gaming for a weekend.
Cool.
And so it's going to be tons of gaming.
And I know one of the things that you guys have done in the past, I want to try and hit and see if it's going to happen again this year, is you guys are one of the only cons around here that do the play to win games.
Well, I know that there are a few others that touch on it, but I think that not like we do. Like, we really worked, and I really worked to get that to be a thing, which was only inspired by staff of mine that, when Denise, listen to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to stand still. I promise. Talk quick. But no, it's a thing. Right. But yeah, we have a lot.
Well, I know there's other cons who go, all right, you at the end you throw your raffle ticket in here, but you guys literally organize. You get with actual game companies about new product, things like that. A lot of times with the other conventions, it's all right. This game's been out for a while. We know it's popular. Let's see, and it's more to move the library than it is to do anything else. But you guys. There have been times in the past when you've gotten a hold of games that weren't even on the market yet to throw into the play to win.
Well, that's Wes. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunately just with the way things are going right now. That's less pronounced than it has been in previous years.
Right.
But we still have tons of giveaways, tons of, neat things to see. But it's still going to be a part of Mid-South Con, but I think every con that used that play to win, it's diminished from previous years, but it's still going to be really exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say that, for all of this, it's a gaming con. We are probably the biggest single gaming event, maybe tooting my horn, I don't know, that is, in this area for a year, once a year. But there's so much more to do at Mid-South Con. There's a masquerade, there's an art show, there's 16 hours roughly of panels, that go on from hard science to the paranormal to what is Lolita and K-pop and just random fandoms, that are out there. And so if you're not gaming, you can literally run over, do something else, get a lesson on hard science, and then run back, jump in some more gaming, or go do an art thing, or do Iron Artist, and yeah.
And of course, there's Allan's favorite panel that always happens every year: how to break into the writing business. You should see the look he's giving me. I am glad we are not on cameras like Tool Talk is, because it might have broken your computer.
Well, you're right, because when I think of gaming, it's like, okay, it is a hub of activity over there, but really that's like maybe 1/5 of what's even still going on. And celebrity get you've got, and my favorite, the vendor room, because the vendor room, you're meeting artists that actually make their own art, and vendors that have one of a kind collectibles that unique niche stuff.
And our artist guest of honor, who will credit that they grew up with this con, the Blachecks, brothers, which are Eridani Studios, started with. I think they may have started with us, but they have gone on to do so much. But they've come back and they make their own art. They make these prosthetics for like elf ears and all sorts of things. And,
they're performers too.
They're
Like
performers.
They,
yeah. They used to run the dance for us. They're DJs. They make music. They make things. They make video clips. It's fun.
They've been almost a staple at Mid-South Con. If they're not there every other year, you kind of start getting worried because they even show up when they're not guests. You know, there have been a few times when it's like, because I've run into Michael when he's not on the venue.
Yeah.
He's not on the schedule.
You know, I was really worried the one year that we came back after COVID because they weren't going to be there.
No, it's great. Mid-South Con is coming up, folks. We got to get you ready for this. It's going to be March 22nd through 24th at the Whispering Woods Hotel in Olive Branch. We're going to continue with our con talk when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Freddy Krueger has nightmares about them. The Geek Patrol is back.
Now, Brandon, in his nightmares, would they be upbeat, shiny, positive things like bunny rabbits? And
no.
Okay.
Do you know 80s hair metal?
Okay.
Like Dokken?
Yeah.
Okay. It's stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, interesting dichotomy.
I
think those are bragging rights. I'll take them. Anyway, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, and our friends Wes and Denise, who are they wear many hats, but they are sort of key organizers for Mid-South Con, which is coming up March 22nd through 24th at the Whispering Woods, I should say, the 39th Mid-South Con. I'm not going to say annual because there's been interruptions due to COVID, due to, whatever other challenges. But, hey, Denise and Wes, I wanted to just give you my own Mid-South Con anecdote because we always want people to learn it. We want them to benefit from our mistakes. So the first Mid-South Con I went to, I don't remember what year. It was probably, 2003 or something. But I walked in, didn't know anything about your event, literally. Walked in, went to first place I go, of course, is to the vendor room. I spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of time in there. I looked at the gaming room. I looked around. And then I think that's the first time I met Mitch Faust too. And then kind of went home. I didn't know. And then I found out after the weekend, oh, were you at this panel? Were you at I barely dipped my toes in the water because for one thing, I didn't pick up a schedule. Didn't really know what I was seeing. And we don't want people to do that. It's like a convention's almost like an iceberg. You see what's on top, but there's so much more going on. So
it's its own secret. It's hidden away, and yet you get there, and there's all these experiences and things to do, and there's not enough signage in the world. Like we could plaster the walls, and it would be overwhelmingly understated.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the other thing is, even if you did know everything that was there, you can't experience it all. But
that's true. You got to pick and choose.
Right. You almost have to pick and choose because there's a ton of. There's just a myriad of every facet of geekdom is represented there. So
yeah. I mean, let's put it out there. If you're out there and you're interested in superheroes or science fiction or video gaming or board gaming or actual science, which is one thing I appreciate, or if you want to just experience a really really great artist and meet them. I mean, it's a celebration of the arts.
Absolutely.
It's multifaceted. So we love it. So the 39th, how are plans coming together right now? Because new venue.
Again, my perspective is mostly from gaming. I'm also a chair of I'm on the board, so it's hectic. It's we're trying to get things together. It's a rebuild year, obviously. Even though we've been back last year, it's a new venue compared to previous years. So we're trying to make it work. It's definitely going to be an awesome time either way.
And for me, it's coming home. If you had already moved, but you didn't get to see the house before you moved, so you walk in and it's your stuff, your place, and it all makes sense, and yet it feels totally new. But it's coming together, and I think it's going to be an amazing year. And I don't know, it could be hopeful, but I love the island that is itself and the mini nerd mecca that we have, and that we do this for charity and everything else, but it's coming together really nicely. I think if my head doesn't explode in the meantime.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've anybody who's ever organized anything for a con knows about the head explosion fears. But I know that we're going to have you guys back in the studio the week before Mid-South Con. You'll be here on the weekend before. We're going to get into more specifics. But before then, I was wondering, can you let our audience in on anything new that's coming that they haven't been able to experience at Mid-South Con before?
So this year, one of the panels is going to be a live podcast of movies that didn't suck, for example, and they're going through, movie talks and everything else, and they have a really active podcast for all that. But along with that, one of our guests of honors, Cherie Renee Thomas, who just released a graphic novel on the Black Panther.
Right.
Yeah, she's going to be there, but she's a poet, writer, editor, and she's like so pushing into getting kids into literature and superheroes and everything else, and Afrocentrism and all sorts of ideas that are just really coming to the forefront. But her stuff and her graphic novel and everything, and I think that alone is worth talking about.
Well, that's the thing. It's funny, Brandon, because I feel like at a convention there's a party atmosphere. It's a great shopping experience. Right. It's a celebration of the arts. But then underneath it all, as much as Allan may hate this, there's all sorts of goodness being done for humanity.
Well, I mean,
you got to support it one way or another. I mean, even if you blow it up later, right?
Right.
I mean, Allan, we can agree that education is very important to villainy.
Yes.
Especially science.
Yes, absolutely. As one of my favorite signs at a library once said, please do not eat in the library as it attracts ants. The ants will learn to read. The ants will gain knowledge. Knowledge is power. I don't want to work for the ants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, when you go to a convention, I say that to be very humorous in the fact that you can find any conversation you want with you have no idea who.
Right.
You could be sitting around chatting about Doctor Who with a real doctor. There are photographers. There are every walk of life in there, every age group in there, pretty much any ethnic group, including a variety of new ones. You've never seen colors like that before, whether real or artificial. And it's a great place. You could honestly just go find you a nice place to sit, hold up a sign and says, I would like to argue about, and then put the topic. Somebody will walk over, and there you go.
People have done that in the past.
I know. It's amazing.
That's the thing, and that's the unplanned stuff. That's the stuff that just happens, and every convention has stories at the end of it.
There was a guy that was dressed up as Black Panther a couple years ago, and there was this little boy walked up to him, and he just gasped, and the guy who played him just crossed over and he was like, Wakanda forever. And the little boy basically just fell over. He was so excited.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great.
That was great.
Hey, so March 22nd through 24th coming up at the Whispering Woods Hotel. What's the website if people want to get some tickets?
It is midsouthcon.org. And if you go and you can register, and I think it's $50 right now until March 1st, which is coming around the corner. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do that. And we'll be, like we said, we're going to be revisiting as we get closer.
Right.
But you guys, we're going to shift gears when we come back. I had a really interesting story involving technology and an airplane delay.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Baby Yoda hates these guys. The Geek Patrol is back.
That's because he couldn't levitate Allan. You've got some defense that it makes you impervious. He resented that.
I beat him to the frogs.
It's called the dark side.
Exactly. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass. And we've got our friends Wes and Dave who are...
Who the heck is Dave?
Denise, Dave.
Wes and Denise. Sorry, I'm sleep
wow.
deprived.
I've been called different variations.
Okay. You know all this year, if I need you while I'm at Mid-South Con, it's like, has anybody seen Dave?
Yeah, sorry, Denise. I'm not
Where's
even
Dave?
looking at my notes. But anyway,
I'm
I
sorry,
know
this
it's
is about
Denise.
all
We've
Cheech
known
and
Denise
Chong.
for years. Whatever. Hey, you guys, there's a good reason that
You just
I'm
got our
making
fan
mistakes.
table put in the back.
No, Denise, and it's interesting because off the air I discovered that you've got a connection with this. So this is going to be your insight's going to be very valuable. So you guys,
cool.
Couple days. So Friday night I was coming home from Chicago. I had to go there for a few days, and my flight I thought very sensibly was scheduled for 8:30 at night. So it allowed me to spend some time in the city. I got to the airport in plenty of time, and I was going to get home at 10:40. That's not bad, you can get some sleep.
Yeah.
So this is literally a first. I've never heard this happen before. So the pilot gets on the speaker, And this is like 10 minutes after we're supposed to be leaving the gate and everything. And he goes, well, folks, I'm sorry to announce we have some error codes have popped up on the control panel. And this happens sometimes. And he said, unfortunately, what we're going to have to do is reboot the airplane. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm picturing, all right, I'm already putting together how we're going to discuss this on the show. I hate to say it, but it makes sense. Everything gets rebooted. You reboot your phone. Everything's connected through computers. And so anyway, he goes, so I just wanted to warn you that the plane is going to go dark. And so it's weird. He turned everything off. The plane was dark. You could still have it wasn't terrible because light came in from the windows and stuff. But Denise, I've never been on an airplane that deadly silent. And I was texting Brandon and Allan in real time as this was happening. And I said, would it be in bad taste to pull up my phone and play some like ghost sounds or something right now? Or
that would have been hysterical. Like, what was it, the Twilight Zone episode with the gremlin on the engine? Although he totally should have been sucked into that engine. I'm just saying.
Well, good point. Yeah, turbulent. But the thing was, everybody was so polite, and you could hear a pin drop in there, and it was actually very weird. You don't realize how loud an airplane is
until it goes quiet. Yeah, I was like, my dad grew up. I grew up with a dad that was a mechanic and worked in the flight department at FedEx, and he did those manuals for the codes and everything, and divert to this, do that. But I love how honest your pilot was, that he outright told you that the thing that's going to go up thousands of feet in the air and take you, and that while safer than a car, you totally should trust and everything. And statistically, that's true, that they have to reboot. No, don't worry. I love that he told you.
No, I appreciate it. And then Allan, he brought a mechanic in, and then that was another 20-minute ordeal. Eventually, we had to change planes. I got home 3 hours late and everything. But talk to me about this reboot. I mean, are we at a point now where we could have some app goes wrong and we're in trouble, or what? What was he rebooting anyway? I mean,
well, he was indeed actually rebooting. Well, all right, let's look at it this way. What in your life doesn't have a computer in it these days?
Everybody's fridge.
It ain't your phone.
Right.
Your refrigerator's now on the internet blabbing to you to the grocery store. There is a case right now where an M&M's vending machine got caught taking facial recognition pictures of its customers.
Oh, no.
Nice.
That's
I mean, that's pretty
terrifying.
hardcore.
Great.
So, yeah.
I mean,
wait, hang on. So they take facial recognition. So when you're walking by that M&M's machine, it flashes or sends a message to your phone. Hey, you need some M&M's right now. Or,
well, I'm just getting to that point to where, all right, well, they want to know who's buying M&M's. So the facial recognition was set to male, female, and age. Well, but it was doing all of that without your permission. So what isn't a computer these days?
Right.
I mean, they're working on the brain-body interface.
And I love to point out, we had a space shuttle program. Does anybody remember when it was built?
Well, 70s,
1972.
Right? Yeah.
That meant the computer systems of 1972 were getting us to and from the moon. Your airplane, the only thing that I worry about is some stupid security update or something not loading properly.
Well, we just
That's
had
what
that
I
with
thought.
AT&T.
Right.
AT&T
2
knocked
days before we
out
had that.
nationwide.
Tell me about it.
Oh, wait a minute, Brent. Okay, perfect. Literally the day before this happened was the big outage. Do you think that's related?
Probably.
If you're,
Probably.
It could be.
Well, I was going to say, if so, your flight needs to switch to Verizon.
So the pilot was
They
using
went
it.
down too, dude.
Yeah, but even Beyonce can't break their system
Wait.
for long.
So here's the conspiracy. So you're saying the pilot was using his personal hotspot on his phone. He had a glitch, and now the airplane's
No,
in
I'm
peril.
saying he
That makes
was
sense.
using his personal hotspot to try to update the plane to get it to reboot.
Okay. Because
Or it's all connected.
yeah, I mean,
Like
I didn't even
one happened to the other. Yeah.
I didn't even think of the whole outage thing because that was weird. My phone went out. I guess your phone.
Oh,
went
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My
I didn't
phone
even
went out
notice. I live in
between texts.
Midtown, so like with the trees.
Yeah,
and everything else. And I have Verizon.
Your network very rarely works anyway.
So yeah, it's glitchy, and so it was just a little more glitchy than normal.
Okay, so an error code. It's funny though that could do it, and then I guess what that means is they don't know whether this is an actual error or if it's just like put duct tape over that light there, and we'll keep going.
No. Putting black tape over the engine light is a bad idea.
On
Right.
a plane, yeah.
So I guess this
isn't that
captain
the
was
basis?
professional.
Yeah.
I guess so. Isn't that
And
the basis of
transparent.
all IT, though? Just reboot it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a plane or a cell phone or whatever, right?
Have you tried turning it on and off again?
Yeah, have you
Right.
turned it on and turned it off? All right. Well, if you
Was he
think
on the
about
line
it,
with customer service?
oh,
Like,
I'm
yeah.
sure he was.
Right.
Yeah. Please hold. Well, if you think about it, even your car is computerized,
Oh,
but your
yeah.
car gets rebooted every time you turn it off.
Right.
The airplanes are never turned off. So
It's going to be an interesting development because I'm wondering if I'll find. They were constantly sending me emails during this period, so I'm going to go back and watch and look at them and see if it maybe has any details in there we can unpack next week.
Oh,
or
I would
something.
love
we gotta milk
to see
this
what you were seeing there.
So anyway, but you guys, hey, Wes and Denise, we'll be having you back shortly, but it's time to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
Wesley Kinslow.
Denise Hager.
And I am Brandon Olmstead, reminding you to always stick with us here at Geek Tank Radio, your update patch for Suck It Sunday Radio.